there are 3 reasons why you must invest today. So this advice is very practical for those of you if you are looking to grow your wealth. So time will work in your favor, which means if you are very young, it is much more important for you to start investing, because the compound interest from investing is going to help you to achieve a new level of wealth. Now, let's take the example of the wealthiest people in the world. Take Elon Musk as example, right? He invested his wealth into Tesla, into SpaceX, into Starlink, and all his AI projects. Now it pays off greatly. If you take a look at Jeff Bezos from Amazon as example, he invested most of his wealth in Amazon. If you take a look at Warren Buffett, for example, the best investor, one of the best investors in the world, he also invested most of his money, which means by default, right, if you want to grow your wealth, you got to be someone who's investing your money. So here's reason number 1 as to why investment is extremely important. The first point that I want to say is inflation. Now, many people, they understand the word inflation, but what do they do in order to help combat the inflation? They are just basically saving up their money as soon as they get their salary. I won't say that it is a bad idea to actually save up your money. In fact, it's good. You get to save your emergency fund, right? But here's the thing. The rate of inflation is higher than that of the return you get from saving up your money in the bank. That's for sure. As you are growing your wealth, you put your money into something, right? And that thing yields a return to your portfolio. So I think it's very important for people to understand that investment is everywhere, and that you should embrace investment as something which is very normal in your life. So the second point which I'm going to talk about is actually lifestyle inflation. So lifestyle inflation is not exactly inflation is an event cost to the consumers, right? Now, lifestyle inflation is more of a personal choice. Now, for an example, after 5 years of working, right? After 5 years of working, you have had your salary increment, right? So you're basically going up, leveling up, right? So what do you do with your money as your salary is going up? Do you spend them more, or do you actually save up more of your money? Or better yet, do you save up more and invest most of it? So I leave it to you, right? But the key is this. If 5 years in, if you are having a great deal of salary increment, right? And if you are spending more of your money, so doesn't that defeats the purpose of you growing your wealth, right? So this is something that we should understand from the very beginning. If you want to grow your wealth, you should actually stop spending as much as possible, if that makes sense, right? If you want to grow your wealth, you should invest most of your money, right? And having a high rate of savings can really help you skyrocket your wealth growth journey, right? And the last point which I want to talk about is opportunity cost. Now, opportunity cost, it's quite difficult, to actually explain. But what if I tell you the price for you to pay in not knowing how to invest is very huge? Which means, if I were to give you an example, now if you invest your money in the S&P 500 index, right? Annually, it returns 10%. All right, 10% a year is actually a lot of money, right? So which means you not learning how to invest your money will actually cost you 10% every year. So you get what I mean, right? So the more you learn about investment, the level of your knowledge gets higher, right? The more you can make the return annually per RM that you invested in. So that's very important for you to keep in mind. If you want to invest your money, you should invest your money by a huge amount, because it doesn't make sense for you to invest your money if you are just investing, let's say, 5% of your money. Let me give you one example. If you have 100,000 ringgit, okay, if you invested only 5% of your money, which is 5,000 ringgit, you invested 5,000 ringgit into an investment vehicle that gives you a return of 10% a year. Which one is better? If you invest your 50% of your investment into an investment that gives you a 10% return a year versus investing 5,000 and getting 10% out of it. So I guess the answer is very clear. If you invest, you need to invest a huge chunk of money into your investment portfolio. But that goes without saying, risk management is very much needed. So after this, I'll be teaching you how you can invest your money and where you can do so. Alright, so I'm going to teach you how you can invest from your brokerage app, which is moomoo. Okay, so this is the app that I'm going to demonstrate today. And by the way, you can actually use my code to actually download the moomoo app, and then you can start depositing money and start investing starting from today. So now let's just click into the app. All right, so okay, so this is the first interface that you will be at. So now the first thing you should do is to add the stock code into your watch list. Now this watch list is definitely, I have added many names into the watch list, right? But if you, for the first time, if you are going to find the stock, right, you can proceed to the search button like I did just now. Okay, and you can proceed to type VOO. All right, if you look at the heart button on the right side, it's already added to the watch list. Okay, so right, so if you want to add them to the watch list, just click it, okay, and press done. Okay, now you can cancel and you can look at the watch list. Now, why VOO? The first one, why VOO? Click into it. So actually VOO is an ETF. It's actually exchange traded funds, which means basically a basket of stocks. So this VOO actually mirrors the S&P 500 index fund. So it is a very good place to invest your money, basically in the US economy, right? So first of all, you are going to look at the button trade at the bottom left. So you click on the button trade. Okay, of course, you are going to select buy. All right, so if you are buying right now, we are not in the regular trading hours, like you can see. So when the market opens 9:30 onwards, you can start placing your trades. You can start placing your trades now, but the fees will be a little bit higher, right? So regular trading hours it is. So just click on it. Okay, order type, if I give you one example here, if you choose limit, usually is a little bit better if the price when the market opens, let's say we are following the pre-market price, right? 587.01, right? So when it opens 587.01, you can actually place your limit order to 587 US dollar, for example, right? Or you can place 586 if you want to get it at a lower price. Okay, so limit order is actually the better choice, but sometimes I'll just go with market order. Okay, market order. Okay, so regular trading hours, market hour, quantity, right? So it really depends on how much money you have ready to invest, right? If you have 600 US dollar, okay, so you can just say, for example, you are buying one share, so it will tell you the amount is 587.01 US dollar. Okay, what if you have $200, for example? You can actually do that because moomoo allows fractional share trading as well. For example, if you press 200 US dollar, okay, the quantity is already pre-calculated there, 0.3407 share estimated. Okay, so now once you are ready, you press buy button. Okay, so in this example, I'm not gonna buy because I have my funds at other brokers, so it's not here. I'm not gonna do so. But for your example, if you want to buy, just continue and it will fill itself. The order will fill itself once you have successfully purchased the share. So congratulations, that's how you purchase share in moomoo, specifically VOO. So as we discuss about the concept of compounding interest, right? I want to show you this compound interest calculator. So in this compound interest calculator, we are basically going to find how much you can actually, your money, how much of your investment will be after a certain amount of years. So for example, if we say that our starting balance, this is your initial capital, right? If you have an initial capital of 10,000 ringgit, for example, we're just going to input there. And if you have invested in VOO, right? Just now we said that S&P 500 index fund, it returns an annual return rate of 9 to 10% a year. So let's just take 9%, for example. Duration. So let's say, for example, you are 25 years old. So you are going to retire at 60, for example. Right? So you are going to have a 35 years of investing. So duration, input 35 years. Periodic addition is how much money you are willing to invest monthly if you are investing on the same investment vehicle, right? So for example, if you are able to invest 1000, okay, let's just input 1000. So we are going to see how much you can get by the end of 35 years. So investment value says 3,172,000 ringgit. So contributions total was 430,000 ringgit. So imagine this, 430,000 ringgit yields you a profit of 2.7 million, which brings your investment value up to a total of 3.1 million. So that is actually a huge amount of money, and this is how compounding interest can actually work in your favor. So I would always say the concept of compound interest, right? 4% this year is actually higher than 4% last year because your money has compounded. Compound interest has taken place to a point where this year the same yield, the same dividend yield is actually higher than the return from the previous year. So I hope that helps. I hope that helps you understand what is the meaning of compound interest and how your wealth can grow exponentially if you invest your money.